Upon asking the question, you will be given 1 minute to answer the question, 30 seconds for you to rebut it, and 30 seconds for you to reply back. Okay? Any questions? All right. Kanish is asking Rahul on the manifesto point, propose allowing course repetition for students with below average grade in a particular course. The question is, what is the purpose of this policy that involves learning the same course content again? If it is a prerequisite for future courses, the repeated course cannot be taken from the next. At most, they will run together. Do you have a problem if the students audit the course as opposed to making the repeat a credit course?
Okay, so what I'd like to add is students who have just passed the course, it's not necessary, they have just passed the course because they have not completed their learning process. And if you are talking about audit, if you take the case of the FR, a student is allowed to repeat a course, then it's not the maximum credit he's not getting is 4. He can get a 10 also. So it's that the institute allows you to repeat a course and get the grades. So if a student is putting his efforts, he's putting his 1 semester, he should be allowed to repeat the course and get credits for that, and it shouldn't be an audit course.
Kanish, your rebut.
Yeah. So basically, what I was trying to ask you was, both the courses, the prerequisite one and the one he is doing currently, will be occurring together. So when you were doing the common campaigning, you told us that it is just for the sake of learning, so that he could also use the the knowledge acquired for the next course. So since both these courses are simultaneous, how will it be beneficial?
Yeah. So going on into it, so basically what will be happening if there are 2 courses running parallel to each other, then a student has got a base to it, and then later in the course he's side by side he's learning also, and in the second course he's getting to apply also. So in a way it's beneficial for him because he's able to do both the courses, and he's going to apply what is learned in his previous course into his new course in the same semester.
The second question from Kanish is that, on your point, incorporate projects in the minor curriculum analogous to the IDC studio project. The question is, don't you think that having a project which is a focused study in a particular area, violating the very principle of running a minor course, which is to give an overview of different fields?
Yeah, so basically what I have thought of in this structure is that first he'll be doing 4 courses of the minor, and the final minor course will be a project. So if a professor wants to add some prerequisites for the project, he can definitely put it up. And if a student is fulfilling those prerequisites in the minor curriculum, he can take that project. And also there will be an option to take a course also. So if a student is not interested to take a project, he can take a course also. So it is not a very hard and fast rule. It's basically to give a practical exposure to the students.
Okay, so basically this particular project, will it be based on the past knowledge or the new one?
It depends from department to department. So mostly it will be on the past knowledge. But if there's something new into it, he can definitely cover that in his first half, and in the second half he can do the project. Like in the BTP and DDP, first half is for literature reading, and the second half is devoted to do the project. It will be running on the same lines.
Now we will be asking the questions to Suman Rao.
Test. Can you hear me?
I guess, yeah. In case of your point about build your minor, Kanish wants to ask you, how and when will the student be guaranteed about this proposal? If you're inviting suggestions from students, how many suggestions would you entertain and how will they be managed?
Right. So I do not want to put a cap on the number of suggestions. If you are finding hybrid minors, there is no upper limit to it. What we want is the students give us suggestions, the council brings suggestions, we shortlist whatever number is feasible. This will need to go through the Senate. It will take the next semester to go through the Senate. By January in the coming year, we need to have hybrid courses already running as minors.
So firstly, how will it be decided whether a particular set of courses as suggested by a student qualifies as a minor? Secondly, how will you validate the requests of the students in terms of the courses to be taken and their correlation? Can you give a few more examples of such possible interdisciplinary minors? apart from the finance minors?
Right.
What's
So
the-
the way this will work is if financial mathematics minor has hybrid courses coming from SOM department and math department, when the suggestion is put forth, the two DUGCs of these two departments need to pre-approve the minor, the label of a minor to this set of courses. If you want more examples, there are more examples. For example, computational material science is one such example. Computational mathematics is another example. We could combine nanotechnology and semiconductors in electrical and material science and bring one more minor in that interdisciplinary field. So there is no upper limit to the kind of examples we can come from.
And then the approval from the Senate and the validation of the, the set of courses.
You cannot rebut right now. Your rebuttal
But
is
he
over.
didn't answer to my first question.
So, which one?
The one in which I asked him, how will he decide whether a particular set of courses as suggested by a student qualifies as a minor? Since he is telling me that he won't be putting any upper cap. So he didn't tell me the exact criteria. So I am interested in knowing the same.
So the feasible options will be taken to the two DUGCs. Like I said, the two DUGCs of those two departments, the HOD and the two DUGCs, will decide whether the particular option can be offered as a hybrid minor or not, like I said before.
It doesn't seem feasible to me,
Minor allotment. Propose additional procedure based on evaluation of relevant project work. At a policy level, evaluation of project work is a subjective thing. How do you decide if some project work is worth the CPI cutoff for that minor? Also, in departments like computer science, seats are already full and all freshers do course projects in CS 101. How many extra seats on project basis do you plan to reserve or open? And on what criteria will certain students be selected over the others?
Let's clarify here. The GSA square is not going to be sitting and evaluating who is going to be going into which minor or not. The instructor will be doing this. We have a portal where in a fixed number of words, you don't give us your SOP, you tell us your credentials, and you upload whatever proof you want to prove those credentials. If the professor finds that this person has enough enthusiasm in my minor, but he does not have the CPI to enter my minor, then the professor will take a call. Further, I do not want these people to cut down on the current minor seat cap. If there are people with CPI who want to enter the minor, they will. This is additional, is what I'm proposing.
Then again, you didn't answer my question. My question was, CPI is a quantitative thing, and doing project work is a, qualitative thing. How these two things, one is quantitative, another being qualitative, will be possibly compared?
Like I said, these are two very separate cases. जिनको CPI से course में घुसना है, वो already जा रहे हैं. Additionally, now there is a legal procedure for you to show your credentials to the professor and enter. There is currently no such Senate guideline or a legal procedure, which is what I want to introduce as a Senate guideline.
Okay. Moving on. The question to Ugam from Kanish. You propose to introduce the system of X compulsory plus Y elective courses. What value is this adding to the academic system and what is the purpose behind this?
So right now the minor program is very rigid. You have to do only a set of 5 compulsory courses which are being given to you. Some courses are very redundant and you don't find it very useful. Hence you tend to drop those particular courses. So by introducing a system like X compulsory Y electives, it can be like 3 compulsory plus 2 electives or 4 compulsory plus 1 elective, so that you can do the courses which actually you find your interest in, so that the very purpose of the minor program for which it was established to give you a varied idea of the minor program of your interest is served.
So if you want to avail such a choice, then I think firstly you need to make this particular list more extensive. Will it be the case?
So the extensive list would be any department elective which is running in the department can be taken up as a minor elective, provided the person has done the prerequisite for that particular course.
The next question is, ensure implementation to keep library open 24/7. The reason why this has not been implemented in spite of popular demand for the same is that we require manpower and staff to run the library 24/7, which is not feasible. How would you ensure the implementation of this in spite of these limitations?
So there is already a permission in place to keep the library open 24/7. We cannot appoint more permanent workers. We are going to appoint temporary workers on contract basis. We would maintain the adequate ratio of temporary is to permanent workers at any point of time in the library, so that suppose say a particular issue happens, it can be tackled by those particular permanent workers also. So by maintaining the ratio, we are going to keep the library open.
So, okay, let me be very clear. The reading room will be the place which will be open 24/7 and will be present on the 3rd floor of the library. And the proposal will be completed in around 8 months. So it's not the library which will be open 24/7, firstly. Secondly, the reason for not being able to employ a worker overnight is because he's we would have to pay him extra money. I mean, almost double the salary, which we need to pay a regular employee. So that was the reason.
So if the person, we can keep the person working on an 8-hour shift on a particular night, and we can, using a contract work, temporary workers, you can keep this library open. It is a need of the art. As he said, reading room would be open 24/7.
Now we'll be asking Rahul's questions to Kanish. This question is directed to your proposal to develop an academic archive containing reference material of past course offerings. This proposal was raised by the GSA square of 2012 to 13 tenure and was rejected by the Senate, citing the materials like slides, question papers, etc. And if you're thinking of sharing textbooks, I would like to remind you that it is strictly against the Copyright Act. Keeping all this in mind, how exactly do you plan to implement this?
Okay, so firstly, I would like to thank Rahul for bringing all these things in place for me. So I didn't have any plan to put in all these things, as I discussed it in my groundwork as well. No lecture slides, no question papers will be present over there. Only the slides which could possibly be shared will be present over there with the help of the Department Research Committee, which I am proposing. The people who are specialists in their specific departments will be coordinating with the Department Council and will be doing so.
Actually, we have already put up such slides from the approval of the professors on the Facebook page of Student Support Services.
Okay, so let it be more official and comprehensive for all the departments.
That's about it. The next question. This question is directed to your proposal to relax eligibility criteria for holding PORs by allowing students with 1 FR and an appropriately decided CPI cutoff. The primary responsibility of a student is to take care of his academics, and if a student is not able to handle his primary responsibility, what other position of responsibility is he eligible to handle?
So basically, this particular point was raised by me because I saw this particular thing happening to some of my fellow juniors. They were there, and I saw them working really hard for the whatsoever maybe the POR. Okay, and they were actually doing decently well in their, I should say, overall curriculum or overall semester. But because of some or the other reason, they missed out on a particular course. And the reason for particularly putting this point is this: suppose if somebody is getting a 4 on 21 marks, which is the passing marks, and a guy who is getting a 17 or 16 marks, what is the difference between their knowledge base? So just in order to, I should say, save those people who are missing out on PORs just because of one single FR, I am proposing this particular thing, just, I mean, to save them from the social pressure.
Rebuttal.
Okay, I'll just mention that suppose if you get an FR, you have to, your course load for the next semester will increase. You're plus taking a POR. So that POR, in most cases, it has been observed that when you take a heavy POR like a manager or a CG, some of them face they get one more backlog. So you're basically accumulating the backlogs, and that is strictly against the academic council, right?
So I am in no way accumulating any backlogs. Firstly, he is repeating one single course, which I don't feel is that much of a burden. Secondly, his overall CPI is decent enough. That is why he is being allowed to have a POR. A CPI of 7.5 or such, it doesn't make a difference if he is repeating one extra course.
Now the question will be directed towards Suman. This question is directed to your proposal to reinstate the policy of allowing non-backlog students to take up summer courses. This rule a rule against this was passed in the tenure of GSA Square 2012-13. We had already tried to revoke the rule, but faced rejection due to the fact that it could be misused by the students. Apart from that, there were complaints from professors as students took up part-time internships, resulting in drop in attendance. Considering all this, apart from the fact that the next Senate meeting is on 12th March, would it be possible for you to revoke this rule for the upcoming summer? And if not, how would you do it for the summers of 2015?
Right. So firstly, the point raised was misuse. That is true. The problem is what happens is that people think that the summer grades are obtained easily, and which is why it becomes unfair for people to take up courses in the summer. When you give so-called chill grades in the summer, it amounts to IIT Bombay lying on the transcript, which is something which cannot be allowed. This has to go with a Senate guideline which says that if not tougher, then the summer course grading should definitely be in pattern similar to what happened in the in-semester. Given this restriction removed, now I don't think there is any reason why other students should not take up of this facility. When it comes to part-time internships, I don't understand the question, because even right now, summer courses have a compulsory, irrespective of instructor, attendance policy of 80%. So whether he's doing an internship or not, I don't care. If he has extra time, let him do it. But he should attend 80% of the classes. The last thing was about the Senate meeting. What I would do is push this through in the Dean AP and convene a UGPC meeting to get this through. If not, then I would
The
like to...
question is, it's already been done, but still, it's not being. What are you going to do about it? It's already been proposed.
She asked me. The efforts I want to direct into is to remove the primary complaint itself, which was that summer courses get easy grading, which is the problem, which is a problem in the academic system as well. That is the direction in which I want to direct my efforts.
Okay. So my rebuttal is that the summer courses are run for the students who have for the students so that they can clear their backlogs. Okay. And if you are having a limit absolute grading for them, then it will lead to more backlogs, and it will basically not serve a purpose of a summer course. And so that's what my rebuttal is.
I am not asking the professors to run extra summer courses just because people want to take it earlier. These are courses which are already being run for backlog students. The instructor will use his discretion, not relative grading, not absolute grading, but his discretion to make the grading match whatever the in-semester grading is. Further, I don't think that just because people are taking courses in the summer, I think they should be given intensive grading, not easy marks to get them through.
Question is directed to your proposal of allowing retagging after every academic year. The current system requires a significant amount of manpower in getting each tag changed because it's done manually. If you allow retagging after every academic year, it will be laborious for the administrative office, considering that department general secretaries don't have the power to do this.
Let's try to understand what I'm proposing very clearly. It's slightly nuanced. Firstly, what happens right now is people take up 7 to 8 courses in their second, third, fourth year, and they give the whole bunch for retagging later. Now the labor will actually decrease when you're distributing it. 2 courses in the second year, 2 courses in the third year. The number of faculty advisors who are taking this through is now 3. Right now, the faculty advisor is only 1 because you do it after your 4th year. In my system, the work reduces. And about DGSECs, I have already addressed in my manifesto where I want to involve the department general secretaries to streamline the process and also give advice to second year students who might retag out of greed for CPI.
So my rebuttal is that the Dean AP presently gets 500 applications, and for this present year, if you take, there will be the final year students will be taking 500 plus pre-final take 250. The second year take 250. So it will be how many? 1,000 applications. For 500 applications, it takes 1 month, and that hinders the placement process because the students have to sign their JAFs by around, for this time, it was August end it started. By September 24th, the JAFs were open, and this will lead to 2 months. So the students will not get the updated CPI for the placement student. It will hinder their placements.
End the rebuttal.
There is no question of delaying this. JAFs get opened by around September 25th. IAFs get opened by around August 15th. This is the deadline which we will work with. Don't tell me the Dean AP goes through personally thousands and thousands of applications for retagging. They go through a hierarchy. First, the faculty advisor approves it.
Suman, you're wrong on that end. Dean AP goes to each and every application of retag.
Dhanashree, what I mean to say was that this goes through a hierarchy. First, the faculty advisor approves this. Then the HOD approves this. Then this goes to the Dean AP. What I'm trying to do is to streamline the process. The Dean AP now does not have to do all that work because it's gone through a hierarchy chain with which enough work has been
It is already going through the hierarchy chain, and even now, every tagging application is approved by Dean AP personally. The next question is to Ugam. This question is directed to your proposal to explore the possibility of a double major in the present academic system. You propose to make it analogous to the system followed in IIT Kanpur and IIT Madras. How do you propose to find extra buffer slots for double major students? Note that extra slots will be needed because core courses of most departments run in the same slot.
So after your second year, you would get to choose the number of courses you need to do. Suppose, say, a core course is, you have to plan your particular curriculum for your double major. Suppose, say, a core prerequisite course, which is needed for doing the another course, has to be done earlier. You can drop another course because we are allowing you to spend an extra year in IIT, in which you can do all the other drop courses so as to complete your double major curriculum.
Rebuttal.
So basically, you didn't answer my questions about the extra slots. Like, how are you going to go about it?
So, extra slots, suppose if the double major program comes into existence and the buffer slots, suppose say the core prerequisite has been produced for both the branches, then they would run in separate slots, like we would run one in slot 1 and other in slot 2, keeping in mind that slot 2 is generally free in many of the timetables for most of the departments.
Okay.
The next question, your proposal of reviving the FF grade. I would like to point out that last semester in CS 101, the professor awarded 25 FF grades. I have with me a printout of grading statistics for this course. In light of this, what revival are you going to make?
So right now what happens is, the core prerequisite courses, if you fail to do that particular course, you pile up your backlogs of the next courses. So if FF grade, and professors do not tend to give FF grade because it is a guidelines to the professor to discontinue the FF grade. Hence, I'm pushing for the re-guidelines. If there is a core prerequisite course, you can give an FF grade and conduct a re-examination due to medical reasons, and the maximum grade which you can get is 4. This would ensure the students can take up the other succeeding courses which had prerequisites.
I said, how are you reviving it when it's already present? And it's up to the professor's discretion to whether to allow the students to be awarded a FF grade or not.
So as per the Biswas curriculum review, this was, their guidelines was passed to the professors guidelines to discontinue FF grade. So I'm going to reintroduce the guidelines so that professors can give an FF grade.
Suman's questions to Kanish. The proposal to maintain 24/7 study rooms equipped with Wi-Fi and propose to open air-conditioned study rooms close to hostels in collaboration with GSHA. Please elaborate on the feasibility and budget of this point.
Okay. Regarding the Wi-Fi facility, it has been approved for the common areas. So if it will be present in the computer rooms or the study rooms, which will be nearby to it, then it's okay. Otherwise, I will be ensuring for the same. And the air conditioning facility thing, it is already in the final stages of its approval for the messes. So that's why I will be pushing it for the nearby places where a candidate or where a student could possibly go and study.
The rebuttal is, Wi-Fi तो तुम लगा लोगे, जगह कहाँ से ढूंढोगे? Wherever there is space in the institute, there is either construction happening or construction workers living. We have not been able to find space for an extra ATM or build it as yet. Tell me, how will you find open air-conditioned study rooms close to or within hostels in coordination with GSA? And within your point, you have written close to or within, so you have not even yet decided where they will be.
Okay, so let me just tell you my present proposal. I am trying to renovate the currently existing computer rooms inside the hostels, providing them with the proper infrastructure, and that is how I am planning to do it.
Air conditioning, computer rooms,
Yeah, so
GSA have been pushing for air
didn't I tell
conditioning.
you?
It's not happened.
It is all,
Huh.
air conditioning is already there for the messes, isn't it? The approval
Stop
is in
it. Okay. The next question is, launch SMS notification service for communicating online update of grades on ASC. Please tell us the feasibility and the budget.
Okay, so in regards to this very point, I had talked to the ASC officials. This is, of course, really very feasible, but the channel needs to come through the higher authorities, and which have shown an interest in this point as well, because when you people are there in your, I should say, houses or in your hometown, it might be the case that you don't have accessibility to internet, in which case you should be updated as and when the grades are up in the ASC. So there is no need to log in again and again in the ASC portal in order to check your grades. So this is just there to ease or, I mean, make your life simple, as I previously told you.
Kanish, it's a useful point, but pushing SMS notifications from ASC is something which has been tried by Ishan Srivastava 2 years before. The problem which comes is, first, there's a do not disturb registry which happens nationally. Even if you bypass it, a lot of people have to register for it. Secondly, there are a lot of costs involved in sending SMS notifications en masse to 8,000 people by bypassing D&D. You have told me nothing about either the feasibility or the budget except for telling me that it's possible.
See, feasibility I have already told you if you have noticed. Regarding the budget, it's not that huge, I can assure you. I will give you the exact amount just after this particular debate. Let me confirm. I don't have the exact number with me. What was the other question? Yeah, the disturbing policy, something like that. So there is an online...
There's a national do not disturb registry by the Ministry of Telecom, by CRY India.
Whatsoever. So there is this online mobile in the ASC, wherein you can register. Sorry.
The next question is to Rahul. Prepare an exhaustive list of equivalent courses across all departments and ensure it is made available to students to facilitate clearance of backlogs. Please elaborate on the feasibility of this point.
Yeah. So as you know that in the summer courses also there are some courses run which which suppose if the summer course is not running, then we accommodate the students in the other courses which has 80% of the course content matching. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make an exhaustive list of it and make it available to the academic office after the approval of the DUGC, and that will be used whenever a student has to do, if he has to clear his backlog and there's some slot clash, then he can use that course.
Stick to the point.
He said the feasibility, right? He said the feasibility, right?
Yeah, go on.
Shenoy, DGSECs already try making these exhaustive lists. The problem which happens, for example, is chemical department comes up and says that even if this course exists similarly in some other department, I think only our professors can give a flavor of our own department. Therefore, we will not allow any other department to offer you a core course in our own department. The problem is not in making the list. The problem is in convincing the departments to use this list.
So you are just talking of one department. So if you take the example of mechanical aero department, there is the course contents is matching a lot. Like for example, of fluid mechanics, the course content is 80% matching, and in that case, it will be allowed. Not if the professors don't agree, then it won't be allowed.
The next point is ensure timely completion of the 24-hour reading hall and cafeteria in the library. How will you ensure this?
Yeah. So basically, there are always some delays from the administrative side. So what I'll do is, I'll be in constant touch with the Dean IPS and Professor and Mr. Gokhale, who is the head of the projects, and I'll be constantly updating about the progress of the project to the students through my blog, and I'll make sure make sure that suppose there's some delay due to some suppose a contractor does not, if the contractor goes on some sort of strike and there's some problems happening, so I'll ensure that I'm in constant touch and push the Dean IPS and the project staff to push it over.
Shenoy, tell us how you will ensure this. 24/7 reading hall का point is already undergoing.
Yeah.
Cafeteria लाना है वो जीशा का problem है. अगर उसको push करना है, that is a GSA's initiative. You will go and update what is happening in the blog. But you have written you will ensure it. Tell us how you will ensure that the contractor will complete it in time.
Firstly, it's not the GSA's point because it's in the academic area. It's a library, so I can push for it. Okay, so basically, I'll be pushing for it, and the timeline has already been set. That is May to April. So I'll ensure that it is there, and as I said, I'll be updating it to the students, and also I'll be in touch with the Dean IPS, and then I'll just keep on pushing.
The next is to Ugam. Would try to allow access to ASC from outside IIT to provide ease during registration process and solve issues pertaining to registration. What have you thought about the security in the system?
So the entire ASC won't be open from outside. I mentioned specifically it is for the registration procedure. So only the registration portal will be available to you from outside to allow you to register from your home, or if you are away, it would give you an opportunity to register. Suppose you are coming late to the institute, this would be the opportunity available for you.
Rebuttal.
Ugam, the problem is that what the Dean AP has said before to a similar point, and what he might say in the future, is that when you allow ASC access externally, this is a sensitive matter in which security you can't ensure. If people are able to access ASC from outside, you don't know who is doing the registration and whether you can hack the system or not, which is why it has probably not been done till now. And if you open it only in the IIT network, if koi agar kuch keede karta hai, then you exactly know from which LDAP from where it is being done. How do you ensure to bypass the security problems associated with this and open up registration externally in what is such a sensitive matter?
So,
Answer.
as I have said already earlier, only registration process would be available outside from ASC. How the security concern, there would be, before opening the website, the authentication ID password would be opened. Then again the ASC authentication, and if both the authentication match, then only the ASC would open from outside.
The next question to Ugam. Propose to extend UGTAs for department undergraduate courses and increase TA accountability by promoting TA office hours and TA feedback. What do you propose which hasn't been pushed for before?
So when I spoke to the offices, I found, and also when I did the groundwork with the students, that many postgraduate TAs are ineffective because of no fault of their own. They haven't done those courses earlier. So I'm planning fourth year students and third year students to be included as a TA for the present department. To cite an example, CS has already included this, and fourth year students and third year students can become a TA for the normal undergraduate courses.
Ugam, despite feedback that PGTS are generally poorer than UGTS, they still continue because you have to appoint them, because you have to pay them the stipend, which is why I have had to write in my manifesto about creating a Gymkhana funded separate TA network. For the past 4-5 years, GSs have been trying to get more UGTS, but the constraint of having to pay all PGs their stipend still exists. Tell us what you will do new, which has not been done in the last 4-5 years.
So as you know, IIT is tapering down the dual degree program. So the dual degree TAs won't be available for those undergraduate courses. Instead of replacing them with the postgraduate courses, I'm extending an opportunity for the UG TAs from fourth year and third year to go to be a TA for sophomore courses.
Yeah, the end of Suman's questions. Ugam's questions to Kanish. Sitara projects are not floated on ASC for the very reason that they should meet the professors beforehand and understand the project work involved. If you're allowing direct registration for such projects, the students will never get to know the basic concepts behind the project and will register for it oblivious of the same. What's your take on this?
Okay, so I agree with Ugam that they need to speak in person in order to decide the project work whatsoever. But the thing is, suppose there are 5 project opportunities and there are 10 people who are interested in that particular project. Now, it is usually the case that the first 6 or 7 people who approach this professor gets the project. Now, by allowing ESC registration, I will ensure that all 10 of them will be registering for that particular project. And since all 10 of them are registered for that project, the faculty will make sure on his own that he is meeting all 10 people and then will be allocating the project to the most interested person.
As of now, you can directly meet the professor for taking up any Sitara project. What new are you going to ensure in this?
See, firstly, the Sitara projects will be floated at the time when we have a usual registration process. Secondly, I am eliminating that race around condition where the people who reach the professor at the earliest gets the project. I'm not able to get what is unclear.
The next question. For industrial visit in December, if this is important, why organize it in December? If it's not that crucial, then it's no use to utilize institute funds.
My aim is to use the available resources in a way so that we are able to extract the maximum from them. As you mentioned that most of the people are leaving for their homes in the month of December, if people are present over here, they would be devoting their time for a, I should say, better activity. They will be able to get industrial exposure, which will be, I should say, practical hands-on experience as far as, I should say, during the semester they are involved in some other activities, they have some other prior commitments, and in the month of December we have a complete month where most of the people, I should say, are not doing much worthy work. So why not use their particular time to do something constructive?
So how many industrial visits are you planning in the month of December? And if it is only 1 or 2, why would students come back from their home for just one industrial visit, which they can do on their own, upon their own contacts?
So see, basically what I plan to do is this. There will be 3 to 4 industries which will be contacted well in advance. People will be made, they will be well informed in advance that these will be the industries they will be visiting in the month of December. Then those who are interested can go and visit that place. That's it.
The questions to Rahul. Mere information dissemination would not suffice for course equivalence. What procedure are you going to follow to make it a practical possibility?
Basically, what I'm going to do is that whichever the courses are equivalent, I'm going to make it available to the academic office, and they can the process will be like they'll be allotted the seats. The seat limit of suppose there's a course in mechanical air fluid dynamics and fluid mechanics, and the students who got a backlog are not able to do it. And there's a second course in the aero fluid mechanics, which is in some different slot. So they'll be registering for it, and they will extend the seat limit to some extent, and the students can register for it.
So the first thing which comes, as already Suman had pointed out, that many professors would not increase the seat limit. The second thing, you are just as in your manifesto, you have just said you are making a list of the course equivalence program. You have never mentioned what all permissions are required to do this, what all hassles and what all the office work is required in making this program a success.
Answer again about the feasibility of the program.
Okay. So as I mentioned earlier to Suman also about the feasibility of the program. So, I don't think so. Basically, it's a repetition of the same question.
Removing the guidelines on URA would reduce the research quality, and are you ready to compromise on the quality to award more URAs? Isn't it a more of a populist measure?
But they are way ahead of URA 01, but they are not awarded anyway. Okay, so that's why I'm allowing the other students who have done exceptional research. Like suppose he has published a paper, then his guide will recommend him, and like BTP and BDP projects, there will be a panel sitting, and they'll decide whether he should be given a URA. It's basically we are not reducing the quality of research in any way.
You are just removing the restriction is the first thing, and second thing, URA 02 has a particular meaning. If it is a 18 credit BTP, then if you get a URA, it's considered to be 24 credits, right? So
Yeah.
removing the restrictions would, like any project would be given a URA 02.
Not any project.
So you are saying any significant project with a defense would be given a URA 02, right?
End of rebuttal.
So what I'm saying is, if someone has done very significant work, then he'll be given this URA in which he'll be getting 6 extra credits because he has put in his efforts. And once suppose he's published a paper, that's a very significant achievement. And then the guide will recommend him, and then a panel is going to sit. So it's not that he's being just like given a URA because
you are giving extra 6 credit for.
The question to Suman. On course repetition, what is the procedure of doing this? How are you going to do it differently as the Senate has already rejected the proposal earlier? Or do you think you can pass this without Senate approval?
That is a weird question. Of course, this has to pass through Senate approval. What will happen is there are already overload criteria which already exist, like I explained in my campaigning just a few minutes before. So if you have a core course in which you have a poor grade, you register for the course again in the different semester in which it is already running. So practically, you will find time to register again for one course in every. So in your BTech curriculum, you will be able to repeat every 4 or 5 courses. The procedure will be that the second grade will hold.
So if it is about learning a particular course, then a person can audit that particular course and can know what classroom teaching, whatever is being done. And suppose if it is not about learning, it is about grades, then Senate would never they would never pass it.
Hold on. So this has been asked before. I don't understand. If you are allowing a person to repeat a second time as an audit and he is doing all that hard work all over again anyway, what exactly is the problem with even giving the grade he deserves then?
Learning a course through a personal interaction is a juicy way of learning, unlike how you do it through a CD video. Are you going to trade the quality of education with the votes for populist measures?
Again, there are assumptions that what we are doing is compromising the quality of the program which is going on. Firstly, this student in with the program I've proposed has already gone through the course once. He has not got a DX, he's got an FR. So the problem is that his understanding in the examination has not been fair. Secondly, what we are giving him is CD videos of courses. So all the juice which the professor is giving out in the lecture in the semester, he's already getting that juice out of the CD video anyway.
So CD videos would have been recorded 4 years back, and the new industrial reform which would have been formed would not be assimilated in those CD videos. How are you planning to provide students with those industrial measures? And if not, many industries actually take students because professors provide them the industrial exposure and the industrial application of the theoretical courses.
Ugam, like I said, I'm not saying people only sit in their rooms and they do every course through CD video. These are people who have got FRs. They've been through the course once. Now they watch the CD video of the course again to clear the FRs. Hold on. Again, you are flawed about being 4 years. NPTEL and IIT Bombay through CDEEP are conducting a program now. It's in the papers today if you check NPTEL on Google. What they want is external students to get diplomas, and it's a recent project. What I want is IIT Bombay students also make use of this facility, and why should it be restricted for external students?
So for the